fancy.
Girl, like we even got the ticker, girl.
Right?
Girl.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Hello. We be like fangirling over our own stuff right now.
You know, I mean, if you're gonna fangirl over anything, it should be your own stuff.
Girl, how you doing, honey? We got to do our check-in because we on lockdown. Got to make sure the mental is there. How you doing?
You know, actually sitting there and just preparing for today with some good music actually helped. I feel really good right now. How about you?
You know what? I'm feeling better because I got to say, if it wasn't for my sister circle, you and Kayla and Annie and Tatiana and all my girls out there, my mom, girl.
Yeah.
In a dark place, so I'm just if y'all can connect with your friends, connect with family. If you're not with your significant other, if y'all ain't choked each other out yet, connect with them, like, because this is real. Like, it is real. And if you have had any type of bouts with depression, like, this is triggering,
Yeah. Girl, we got captions.
Yeah.
That was legit. Got captions.
Girl, we upgrading, honey. I told you all it took was for us to be quarantined to figure all this out.
Yeah. All right, the glow up of life. I love it.
Listen, so I need y'all to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend to make sure to go ahead and tune in, get your drink, come and chat with us, and because we about to get into it all, honey, it all. And then I got my dog barking. Y'all know Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Shut up. Gosh, mommy's live. You're messing up my flow. That's why people don't have dogs. Anyway, but girl, did you see that madness that happened in downtown Raleigh?
Oh man. You must be ashamed to just be in the state, okay? Bad enough they call us the others because we're in the South. But now we got the stupid people outside protesting because they want to be outside. How stupid is that?
And then the thing is, y'all are violating the 6 feet social distancing rule on top of it. But then what got me was not only are you protesting about being on lockdown, but you felt the need to go ahead and wear one of those masks to protect yourself. But we want to go back outside. What we doing?
For whatever reason. I'm like, just even if you are angry and you feel like that's the right way to go about it, to protest, it's not going to change anything. You as one person in this particular situation is not going to change. And if you notice the common theme of all the people that were downtown protesting.
Oh, girl, you took it there.
I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave
it there. You didn't have to.
Hey, look, no. It's more than that. It's the fact that their belief system, their more conservative side, it has to be this way. And I'm like, look, you can't have your way this time. You're going to have to sit and just abide by the rule, just like everybody else always has
just
to.
Like everybody else.
Yeah. You have to take
just like everybody. And I mean, you don't think that we want to go back outside? You don't think that we want to go and like hang out with our friends, go to bars, go to clubs, go to movies, go and do all of that? And I understand. I don't want anyone to think that, I'm just like being a pessimist or just, being mean about this. But I understand that a lot of these small businesses depend on the general public. But right now, we can't go outside. We just can't.
Right, exactly. They better be glad they're not in the Philippines where the president talking about he's shooting people.
Right,
stay home. If you don't, I'm going to shoot you.
Bang, bang. Wait, what? My life. Hold on. Yeah. And I mean, it's just like, even though the cops were telling them like, hey, you guys have the right to protest, but make sure you're following, the orders with social distancing and things like that. But they wanted to take a step further. And that's why one of the women, she got arrested because she felt like she just wanted to do whatever she wanted. She's like, well, you're violating my rights. No, honey.
Oh, can I say something? Mm-hmm. That privilege that people think when we're talking about privilege, they think it's about money and having a hand up and, having a better life just because you get more. This is the privilege we're talking about. The fact that you have the audacity, sometimes the caucasity, to think that you can go downtown and protest your right to get back in the streets above everybody else. That is that privilege that we talk about.
Well, damn.
I'm just saying.
Yes, you better put it out. Put it out there. That's
what we're talking about.
And I mean, while we're on the subject of foolishness, can we please talk about this man that is living in the White House currently. First of all, you didn't really have us in mind when it came to the stimulus check. It wasn't even your idea to begin with. But now all of a sudden you want to put your name on it. You want to go ahead and just signature John Hancock. We not doing that.
If I were him, I would not want to be remembered for anything during this era. But considering who he is and the narcissist that he is, it would make sense that he would want his name on these checks for whatever reason.
Girl. You know, and the thing is, you were trying to bail out your friends, you know, all your big business and stuff like that. You weren't worried about the little folk down here, the small businesses, the people who are struggling, the people who are trying to feed their children every single day, the people who are trying to figure out how to pay their rent, the people that are trying to figure out how to pay their bills. You weren't worried about us.
Right.
No. But you want to go ahead and put your John Hancock on this damn check. And I want y'all to start doing, stop referring to it as a Trump check, because it is not a Trump check. It is not coming from him. Okay, this was not his idea. He did not want to give this to us. So please stop calling it a Trump check.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, first of all, hello to everyone watching. I'm seeing coming. Hello from France. Hello back. I'm glad you can join us.
We are international.
Girl, we're global. We internet. Hello. Yeah, but I mean, speaking from France, I mean, feel free to fill us in on what's happening on your side of the world with everything that's going on, because what's happening here is ridiculous. I mean, considering what Canada's getting, they're paying for their salaries, and then on top of that, giving them $2,000 a month, something that takes 2 minutes to apply for, and within 2 to 3 days they have it in their bank accounts. Whereas here, they announced it a month ago, and you could still be waiting up until October to get your check.
Still waiting,
and it's just one check. So it's like, what are we doing here? How can we still boast and say that we are the most powerful country in the world? We're the best country in the world. So says the policies in Washington. However, we're behind on everything. Basic human needs. You have people in Venezuela who are dealing with so much more than we're dealing with here, saying that they are happy they are there and not here because at least they have healthcare.
And like, we legit have become a joke. Like, I don't know if you saw the meme but the Twitter conversation that has been going around, that kind of became viral, where a guy was making fun of, a British accent. He was like, oh, well, British people say literally. And he was like, oh, well, Americans say we didn't prepare for a pandemic and now we're all hungry and starving and we don't have universal health care. And the guy just put the Pokemon meme like, what can you say to that? What can you say to that? That legit is real life right now. Like, that's us.
Yeah,
that is us. And then with him saying that he wants to move to freeze, funding for the WHO, like, what?
No, when I was just briefed on the fact that he's considering adding Vince McMahon as an advisor on how to stimulate the economy after this. If y'all don't know who Vince McMahon is, WWE wrestling, that fake stuff,
Oh, what?
But our president is a reality star, so it would make sense that he would pull in. Mm-hmm. That kind of makes sense that his cabinet or his little advisory board would be full of people like him, because they all speak the same language and have the same ideas. So yeah.
Which is why it is very important for us to go ahead and make sure that we get our stuff together for this upcoming election.
Yes.
Now Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, they have all backed Joe Biden, and even our greatest president ever, Obama, has backed him as well. So we have to get it together. We cannot afford to have another
his face
4 years, because that's how we all feel.
Yeah.
We cannot afford to have another 4 years of this man.
You're right. Did you see him? I think it was Biden and Bernie. They had a sit-down discussion right around the time. I think he announced it at the same time that he was backing Biden, but they had a sit-down live discussion in which Biden actually let Bernie express how he felt about everything. They both shared the fact that they've been friends this entire time. And they've basically not agree to disagree, but just talk more about what they both agree on and how they can meet in the middle with their policies.
Mm-hmm.
But the core of the discussion was, I mean, obviously to show us that they're united, so we should be united. But the core of it was like, hey, let's come together. Let's stop doing this person better than this person or lesser of the two evils. Let's just all come together. So exactly. I think, number one, it's a very good chess game that they're playing by having all of the candidates back him. That's very smart, and that's what we actually asked for. So I just need them to come together like the Avengers and keep Thanos/Trump from snapping his fingers again. So yeah.
Hello. And I mean, that's pretty much that, you know, and I need us to do our part as well. You know, it's going to be a little bit harder for Joe to continue to campaign because of Corona. But at this point, like, look, y'all, we got to do our part. We have to do our part. There are no excuses this go round. We've seen what has happened in the past 4 years now that we let this man into office. Look, like at this point, there is a lot of
it's not fun anymore.
No,
it was never fun from the beginning. But the people who voted him in because they thought it would be fun, it's not a joke anymore.
You see what happened?
Yeah.
You see
it
what
was
happened?
All the way to the left, like in a really, really bad way.
And speaking of bad, I mean, now we even have to say, like, okay, our concert life, are we saying goodbye to that? Like, you know, I didn't already read today that the Essence Festival decided to go ahead and cancel. They were hanging on for dear life. I'm like, y'all need to go ahead and shut it down. But the Essence Festival, they went ahead and closed down, but canceled. But as far as all the concerts, I think you said, when can we expect?
Sure. Let me tell you something on the K-pop scene. When they canceled KCON, I knew it was going down because then Coachella went down, and you knew I was looking forward to see the Big Bang on the stage for Coachella, and they said no. And they said they were going to move it to October. It's been postponed to October. However, according to Dr. Fauci and like everybody that's predicting things, they're saying that we're not going to be able to attend concerts or live shows until fall of 2021.
Woo,
that is a huge blow to the live entertainment business. And I'm not sure it's something that they can survive. I mean, if the movie theater business is having a problem, I'm pretty sure these concerts, the people, think about the musicians that play them, the promoters, the volunteers that, you know, work there, the venues, I'm not sure that they'll be able to survive this, because even if you move it to a digital platform, you can't charge what you were charging for, especially when you have someone like Lady Gaga, who's put together this huge thing next week on the 18th with all these special guests from around the world. And then you have BTS, who essentially moved their concert to online. You can't really charge. Mm-hmm. You can't charge $300 a ticket.
No, because people are paying for experience, you know, and they're paying to actually have like a certain seat. Like, I don't want to sit here and pay the same amount that somebody would pay if they had front row. Like, what?
Right.
What? You know, so I mean, that is a lot to take into consideration, because people need their money, honey. I don't know about that.
Mr. Blocker actually just said that he wants his money back for Jill Scott. And I saw Ticketmaster actually revise their refund policy to say that they're not refunding for postponing shows anymore. It has to be like a do or die, life or death situation to refund postponed shows at the moment. Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes, Ticketmaster said we holding on to that money. That's what they said.
They tried it. They tried it. They tried it.
Yep. It is do or die, Kayla. You're right. I mean, it's the same airline business. They're also saying the same thing. Essentially, if they don't cancel your ticket, or if the hotel that you're going to does not cancel your trip, they will not give you your money back if you cancel.
And that's ridiculous. I mean, that's not even being fair, because I mean, this is something that's completely out of our control. So what?
Yep.
Oh, they tried it. They tried it. And you know who else is trying it, girl? Can we please talk about how like live stream has become the new TV? And we're going to be quick about this because we have to get to our guests. But these people who are creating their own live streams and they are just coming out the woodwork with just anything. And let's just, you know, Tory Lanez, let's throw him out there with Quarantine Radio. This man has legit made this his hustle. You know, people are expecting Quarantine Radio. There are women who are, you know, twerking for him, you know, who are showing their, you know, breasts or whatever for him, and other celebrities are getting in on this, you know, and it's become a whole movement. He legit has increased his followers, I think, to 2.2 million.
Wow! In
a matter of a couple days, like,
wow. Because of debauchery and foolishness that he has on his life.
Look, we got ass twerking. There it is.
Oh Lord!
Look, twerking.
Real quick, what'd you think about Diddy and Lizzo situation? Where, yeah.
Well, I mean, go ahead and explain to people.
If y'all don't know what happened, Diddy had like a global dance party because Diddy was originally known as a dancer before all this other stuff happened. And he had all people coming through, and one of the guests were J-Lo. I mean, so J-Lo was a guest, but one of the guests was Lizzo, and she started twerking like she normally does because that's her go-to. And he immediately shut it down, claiming that he shut the music off because it was a lot of cursing because it was Easter.
But some people were saying that it was a size issue because when Drea came on his live feed, she was allowed to twerk. You know,
right.
I mean, let me just put this out there. I think a lot of people just want to be mad about something because there's nothing else going on. So it's just like, let me just go ahead and just be angry. I don't know what that man's motive was for making her stop. I don't really think that that was the reason. You know, but it's just like, do we care?
If that's your go-to, that's your go-to. I don't care to see it, so I'm not watching you, but whatever.
Period. I don't watch it. I don't watch quarantine radio. And like my brother said, you know, Boosie, he had strippers on there. He was telling them, you know, show me your coochie lips and I'll give you $1,000. Don't know if those girls ever got $1,000 or not. But this has become like the new normal where it's just people just start streaming these celebrities and they make these women do outlandish things and they go for it. Like, I need everybody to find a hobby immediately.
How you get manipulated on Instagram?
Period. Period.
Come on.
Period. But of course, guys, we got to get to our guests, you know, because I don't like to have long, prolonged shows because people be on here just talking, doing stupid stuff. So I do want to welcome to our show, Myriam, who is a waxologist. Hello, girl.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, beautiful?
Good.
Have you been enjoying the show so far?
Yes. We're hilarious.
Thank you, girl. So we are bringing Myriam onto the show because a lot of women and men, men who get manzillions, I think that's what they're called, have been losing their minds because now that we are on lockdown, we legit have we can't do anything. You know, people are spazzing about their eyebrows, their chin hairs, mustaches, hair, all of that. So we brought Myriam onto the show just to kind of give some insight of how you can essentially prolong your wax job or what you can do to not damage the work that has happened thus far. So Myriam, just let everyone know a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
So I've been an esthetician for 5 years, but I specialize in waxing. So I'm a waxologist. I work at Lunchbox Wax in Raleigh. So we specialize in full body waxing for male and female, like head to toe, everything.
Yeah, girl. So we talked about this a little bit earlier this week. Now, I'm somebody who I am an advocate for waxing. I love it. You know, every 4 weeks, I am going to go see, you know, my girl to make sure that she snatches everything. But I haven't been in possibly maybe a month and 2 weeks, and I'm losing my mind. What do I do? You know, because I'm like, whoa.
Like a whole situation.
So in this instance where people can't get, you know, their eyebrows or can't get their bikini or they can't their Brazilian or manzillion, what do we do?
So like right now it's super important for maintenance, like self-care as far as like maintaining your wax, absolutely no shaving. The most important thing right now is moisturizing and exfoliating. So that's super important because when you go, a wax pushes like over 6 weeks and the hair is brittle. Like if you're not moisturizing, the hair is going to break. So essentially it's not removing the hair at the root. So that's why I'm like really being like, hey, you guys need to exfoliate. You need to moisturize like twice a day because there's no point in like coming in and then having the hair break because it's not going to be what it was. You know what I mean? So moisturizing twice a day with shea butter is good because it's not going to clog your pores. And then salt scrub is good.
Okay.
To exfoliate.
And why salt over sugar? Because I hear a lot of people say they like sugar scrubs.
A lot of people, like, I've noticed a lot of sugar scrubs are scented. And you don't want to put any scent on, like, a bikini area or anything like that because it's going to clog your pores. So like a lot of people will go to Bath and Body Works and be like, oh, it says body exfoliate, so it's okay. But salt scrub's good because like if you mix it with jojoba oil, it's like moisturizing as well. So you get that factor into it. And that'll help with pigment as well as ingrown hairs and things like that.
Okay.
Okay. And then as far as at home waxing, because I know a lot of people are getting desperate. They're getting extremely desperate. So they're looking to alternatives to thinking that they can do your job that you are qualified for. So how do you let people know that that's not the thing to do?
I hate that because a lot of people will order things and think like, oh, it's professional, but it's not. Or like use the Sally strips. So that's when you get into like, one, you can't apply the pressure that we apply and like the pull we do. So you are breaking the hairs and then bruising and things like that. So at that point, it's like, you might as well just leave it alone. And then when the hairs break, you're messing up the hair growth cycle. So, and that's why we recommend 3 to 4 weeks, because then we get you like on the right schedule. But when you break the hairs, then that's when you get an uneven wax. And then it takes like much longer to regulate the wax to be a clean one, you know? So regardless, even like people will do like try to do their underarms or their lips, brows, it's just best to leave it alone because it's not professional stuff. And you like, essentially you don't know what you're doing. So
you don't know what you're doing. Stop.
Because even like the clients I've had that are like, oh, I normally wax myself, but I needed like it professionally. Like you can instantly tell, like, yes, they've been waxing themselves at home because it's just like the way the hair grows. So, and then as far as shaving, nairing, that's all the same. Like you're removing the hair at the surface, not the root. So it's still messing up the hair growth cycle. So at this point, it's just better to like focus on your skincare routine and then come in and hopefully 2 to 3 weeks and then get like a professional wax.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask for people, particularly like me, who are wimps when it comes to waxing. I'm not a fan.
Okay.
I have the little single glory tear come out when it happens. So what's your advice for people like that who have more sensitive skin, who are a little bit afraid of the waxing? What would be your tips for their grooming and maintenance?
Like as far as prepping to come in for a first time wax or like just not?
You can do both. Even people who are just really, really scared, maybe talk to them, tell them, ease their minds about coming in for wax, maybe me too. Yeah. And then also for people who are just really adamant about, they just want to do other alternatives. What should they do?
Okay. So as far as first time waxers, like obviously the unknown is kind of scary, but at Lunchbox Wax, we use soft wax. So we work in smaller sections, which is cool because we're breaking up each section into smaller versus like ripping like your whole labia strip off in like one pull. So we normally break that up into like 2 to 4 sections depending on the hair growth. So it's not as intense. And we always start with like bikini line, like, hey, check in. Are you okay? Are you surviving or are you not? And then we go from there. And then some people are either like, just go for it, or they're like, hey, I'm just going to do bikini line today. And then next time maybe we'll go in a little bit more. But I do say like your first time, just go for it. Because when you come back in 4 weeks, like the hair growth is so minimal that it's not even as severe as it was the first time. So it does make things much easier. But for first time guests, like now is a like perfect time to like let your hair grow out wherever. So it needs to be like
girl, mission accomplished.
I know. Everyone's like, I was ready like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, but some people come in and they're like, I shaved 3 days ago. Is it long enough? I'm like, no, it's not at all. So it's best just to like let it go and then come in. And then same for men, because like a lot of guys are like, oh, I want to get my back done, whatever. Like now's the time to let it go, not shave, don't touch it, and then come in. And then for the summer, get you like on a routine.
Okay.
And then for people that are scared of waxing, like absolutely don't want to come in, I hate putting a razor to it or nair, like I said, but if it's like an absolute must, trim it. Not all the way down, but just like enough to like ease your discomfort, I guess. And then Threading is a good option for people who are on antibiotics, steroids, blood thinners, things like that, because you can't wax when you're on medications like that. So
that's good to know.
Yeah.
A lot of people, if you can say that again.
Yeah. So for people that are on any type of antibiotic, steroid, blood thinner, just don't come in for wax because you are prone to skin lifting. It's not guaranteed to happen, but it can happen, especially if you're on multiple medications. Like I've before been on it and I'm like, oh, whatever, it's fine. And then it's like my whole eyebrow, like the skin's gone, you know?
Wow.
So then, yeah, and it's painful. So it's best just to leave it alone. Or like when you're feeling like your new guest intake form, people don't want to put their medication because they're like, why do they need to know? And then, but that's why, like, we don't care, but we need to know for like their safety.
Okay.
And what would you say are some good products to use in the meantime? Like, what would you suggest for a scrub or a moisturizer for people who are just trying to essentially make do?
Okay. So for people that are clients of Lunchbox Wax, like obviously the soft box is good, our body whip, things like that. But an alternative for that is just for salt scrub, you could buy jojoba oil. I think Trader Joe's sells it, or like Whole Foods. Just any jojoba oil and mix it with salt. And then you use that on dry skin before you shower. Exfoliate the area and then hop in the shower and rinse off. And
that's a good tip. Yeah.
So, and then I know Lush sells a good one that a lot of people like. We compare it to ours. I think it's thick, so it's good. So you need minimal product. And then shea butter is good to moisturize because it's not going to clog your pores. And you could use it on underarms, bikini area, legs, obviously anywhere. But a lot of people want to use like coconut oil and things like that because it's thick. That's going to clog your pores and then cause like other irritation. So it's best just to use this like shea butter, not coconut or anything like that, or cocoa butter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, girl. Well, just pray for us all. Definitely
be the same boat.
Can't stress enough that it's like the ruins down there. But we're gonna get through it, and I cannot thank you enough for stepping into the Divas Den, for coming in and letting us know and how to survive while we are on lockdown and quarantine. I hope you're doing well.
Yes,
and just please let us know how we can support you, whether it be now or once this whole entire quarantine and lockdown is lifted.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
and
girl.
For like people that are considering at Lunchbox, we have a buy one, get one. So that's like the perfect time because your first one's a paid service, but your next one's free. So you're not really losing anything, It's always a good option.
All right. And if you can see down below, you can always follow Myriam. And of course, make sure you're following our Instagram, our Facebook for a replay of any of this information if need be. But make sure to hit her up. She's a professional. So if you have any questions, reach out to her. And Myriam, thank you.
Yes,
and if we need you back in the future, would you be willing to step back into the Divas Den?
Of course.
Okay. Thank you, girl. Have a good night.
Guys. You too.
Bye. All right, girl.
Yeah.
Well, we put it all out there on the table, honey.
Sure did. Everyone learn about all of us.
Yes. All the things. I want to thank each and every one of you who, are tuning into our show. Of course, we appreciate the support so much. We will definitely be back next week with more foolishness, more stories, more tea. Girl, I need to get some wine. Do you have any wine?
I actually am out of the wine, but I do have some Christian Brothers that I have a little bit sparingly. I use it sparingly. Yes.
That's
with my Pellegrino, with my pinky out like this. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got cheap rum over here. Struggle's real.
Try not to indulge too much because might get too deep into this quarantine life. But just every little once in a while.
And also make sure you guys are moving. Make sure you're working out any way possible. I don't care if it's walking. I don't care if it's Camp Gladiator. By the way, my mom is a trainer. Follow her, D Block, in case you want to go ahead and get that high intensity. But make sure you're moving. It helps so much. And it's needed. it is definitely needed.
Keep your heart rate going, people. Can't get into that sedentary lifestyle. That's not good.
But thank you guys so much. Make sure you're following us. If you can see down below in the Divas Den, you can follow me at SoFab Kim. You can follow Precious at
The Precious One.
And we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.